Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So today we're going to be doing a series on the MiSTer FPGA E10 Nano project, but a pivot today because we were talking about ModRetro's M64. And the reason I'm using the overall scheme of the MiSTer FPGA videos is because this core is being made by Robert, or FPGAZumSpass, who has the N64 core on MiSTer FPGA. ModRetro announced a little bit ago that Robert is going to be making the core for that hardware as well, and obviously it's going to be derivative of the actual MiSTer FPGA core. But we now have some news of a live demo that's going to be going on this weekend in Portland. I'm going to ask you guys if you are around and going to that expo to get me some photos or videos because I would be curious. But obviously ModRetro is trying to eat Analogue's lunch right now with the Analogue 3D, showing a bunch of different demos and now actually demoing the hardware in public, so we're going to get a chance to see it very shortly. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe to ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And as I've said in previous videos, and I'm going to say this again, I have left the comment section open and you can decide whether or not you like ModRetro or don't like ModRetro based upon the founder's overall business practices. But do not yell at me saying that I shouldn't be able to cover this. I will cover whatever I choose to cover on the channel. It is news. You do not yell at CNN and your television when they have a story on there you don't agree with, so please stop yelling at me. And if you do yell at your television when you see a news story you don't like, that might be a little bit of an issue for you. But all jokes aside, it's one of those things. This is FPGA news. It's derivative of the MiSTer FPGA core. Robert, the developer, is an amazing, talented developer and coder, and a pretty good guy all around, so it's fun to see this sort of stuff progress. If you haven't yet played MiSTer FPGA, the N64 core plays the entirety of the North American, PAL, and Japanese libraries, as well as a metric crap ton of ROM hacks. Basically, if it works on real hardware, it's going to work on MiSTer FPGA, so that would be the expectation of something like the ModRetro M64, which you're seeing here in a prototype stage. And we knew that this was Robert's core before it was actually announced, based upon that frame counter in the top left-hand corner, because that is synonymous with all of his core developments on the MiSTer FPGA side of things, whether it's N64 or whether it was the PlayStation 1 core before that. But it's going to be really interesting to see the ModRetro M64 demos you'll see here at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo from tomorrow through to Sunday. It's going to be at booth 601. Is it going to be a finished console design? Is it going to be a prototype board? We have absolutely no idea yet, but it's definitely fun that ModRetro is actually showing off this hardware. And if you are in Portland, Oregon, and you are going and you watch the channel, leave me a comment down below, because I would love to know more about what happens outside of Twitter, especially if you actually get a chance to play around with the hardware. And I've never been to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo before. I would stop over, but I didn't know this was happening. And obviously Chicago is just a little bit away from Portland, Oregon. And even if I could buy a ticket tonight and fly out with my camera, I've got a lot of stuff to do this weekend, but it is the type of thing that I probably would try if I actually had the time. But honestly, it just seems like ModRetro is thumbing their nose at Analogue right now because, of course, I have an Analogue 3D on pre-order and I'm waiting to put it up against the MiSTer FPGA core. But at this point in time, we know that the thing is delayed. We've had all of one demo in a very put-together video, but otherwise we really haven't seen this thing in action whatsoever. Now, is it possible that Analogue starts shipping these things on Monday? It is. Is it possible they don't ship them until December 1st? Also possible. Could this thing slide to 2026? At this point in time, no one has any idea whatsoever. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But I've said many times before, I think Analogue makes great products. I really love the Pocket and the other consoles I have from them, but their communications and PR department needs a lot of work. And honestly, I don't even know if they have a PR department at this point in time, and if they did, it seems like they took them up back behind the woodshed and old yeller at them because they are not doing a very good job. And it is one of those things. I do like Analogue products. People seem to think I don't. I covered the Analogue Pocket extensively on the channel and had nothing but positive things to say about it until I kind of ran out of video ideas, and I will definitely cover the Analogue 3D as well, and if it is a good product, I will tell you exactly that. I don't care if it's MiSTer FPGA, I don't care if it's Analogue 3D, I don't care if it's ModRetro. When I review hardware, all I review is its functionality and whether or not I think it's something I can recommend to people. So if the Analogue 3D absolutely destroys it in every single direction, I will tell you happily that it is the best option out there. But I know a lot of people like to ask me in the comments what they think they should buy right now, and the reality is the only thing that still exists is MiSTer FPGA. So if you want an N64 and FPGA today, pick up a MiSTer. It's going to be the same core as the ModRetro M64, except the ModRetro M64 is going to be more advanced from the developer himself. And this is going to be an open FPGA device that is kind of an analog acronym, but otherwise this thing is going to allow itself to load up other cores, which is going to be a fun time. But of course we have other FPGA boards on the horizon as well, and the reality is suddenly in the back end of 2025, FPGA is blowing up. We have so many different consoles consoles on the way. So many different perspective boards, all kind of coming from the MiSTer FPGA ecosystem in one way or another. And the best part about this in its entirety is that Robert FPGAZumSpass has let us know that it is going to be able to be backported to the MiSTer FPGA ecosystem. Any of those improvements or fixes he makes on the ModRetro M64 can come to something like the DE10 Nano if it will fit. But that's also just going to involve future hardware as well on the MiSTer FPGA side of things, and even though we don't exactly have a confirmed ability to say that the DE25 Nano is going to become anything other than a thoracic development board that no one will use, if this thing does become something that the MiSTer FPGA ecosystem adopts, Robert would be able to take any of those improvements and put them onto an FPGA board that would have more capabilities, because right now that RAM bandwidth issue is what really holds up N64 on MiSTer, even though in practice 99 out of 100 games will not show any single difference whatsoever. One of the users here said the first FPGA N64 that provides frame rate boost options will dominate the N64 market. Well, good news, that has already happened, and I'm sure it's something you're going to see on ModRetro M64 as well, because Robert actually has the overclocked N64 core on MiSTer FPGA, giving you so many more frames of actual gameplay in games that have an unlocked frame rate. Right here, Quake from side to side, you're going to see is going to get like 15 to 20 frames more per second than it would on a stock N64 or the stock N64 core. So that definitely should be something that I presume is coming to M64 as well. Now, of course, I am making assumptions because those details aren't out there, but I can't imagine that Robert wouldn't bring that same feature over to more powerful FPGA hardware. And you'll see here as we kind of zoom around some of the actual industry areas in perfect dark, this is just a much faster frame rate than you could ever get on a stock console. That is because it is running with a performance patch alongside the turbo core that has those upclocks on some of the N64 chips. So stuff like frame rate improvements are already on MiSTer FPGA and the N64 core. Now imagine what could possibly be done on even better FPGA hardware, whether it's the ModRetro M64 or whether it's something like a MiSTer 2 or a MiSTer Pro. We'll have to wait and see what happens in that respect for sure. But honestly, it's going to be really exciting to see what happens with FPGA in 2026, because I really do feel like Analogue 3D is going to be so close to Christmas that maybe it'll have to wait until January to get some videos done, because I do take some breaks. And again, I understand that not everyone loves ModRetro or its founder, and that is fine with me. You don't have to. I am talking about technology here, so do not think again what I am saying about this is advocacy for or against the actual company in and of itself. I am reporting technical details as well as demos to you, and you, the viewer, get to decide what you want to do with those, and I support any opinion you have. The only thing I don't support is you going into the comments and telling other people that their opinions are not valid. You get to think what you think, and we let everyone else think what they think as well, and you guys can debate that in the comments. That's fine. Just try to keep it friendly. I'm all for open debate, but if you start arguing and name calling, I'm going to delete those comments. But honestly, a price of $199 is going to be a really sweet spot for this sort of hardware. And again, if you want to get into this early bird pricing, apparently it now ends on Halloween 10/31. So as of the recording of this video, you have 15 days to go before that happens. And all you need to do is give them an email. So go ahead and pop that in if you want to buy one. Don't do it whatsoever if you don't want to buy one. Again, totally up to you. I will definitely pick one up for the testing to report on how it does, because that is the type of thing this channel is known for, and I'll keep doing that. But honestly, it's going to be a fun time testing all of this N64 FPGA hardware, because it really seems like ModRetro is maximizing their advertising and demonstrations of the hardware to basically say, why wait for Analogue 3D? You're going to get it from us sooner, and you're going to get it from us cheaper. And obviously we know the core on MiSTer FPGA is thoroughly tested, because it is Robert's core, so you kind of know the quality you're going to expect as a baseline out of something like M64, because this is proven technology. It's something you can pick up and play today, and it's something that I probably did like 75 different preview videos on my MiSTer FPGA testing series when the core was in active development. And again, because Robert can downport some of these fixes to the DE10 Nano or any other MiSTer FPGA board that could exist in the future, these developments are not going to just aid the M64, they're also going to aid MiSTer FPGA, and I really do advocate and love for that kind of open source development. Additionally, considering the M64 will allow itself to load up other cores, it is going to be open hardware as far as loading up other things are concerned. It might be a really fun platform to look towards in the future, but that's up for you to decide. You can pick it, choose it, do whatever you want with it. I'm just here to tell you the details, and when there are more details to talk about, I will definitely do another follow-up video on this one, maybe early next week if I can get some good video sources that I can get permission to use, because I don't really use anything on the channel that I haven't gotten an okay for. But we're done. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.